You're watching The End Zone, sponsored by Brahms.
Welcome to another edition of The End Zone along with Camryn Johnson. I am Colby Daniels. What a great week of sports it is. The MLB playoffs are underway. The start of the NBA season is officially here. Preseason basketball this weekend for the OKC Thunder, and I saved the best for last. We are rolling into the really meat and potatoes part of the college football schedule. So it is great stuff. Notice I didn't mention the Dallas Cowboys after the tie game last week. We'll save that for a little bit later in the show because I do have a moving the chains question on that topic. Good. But for you, Camryn, it was a wild weekend. Arkansas alum over here, and they did what Oklahoma State did to Mike Gundy, and that's pull the trigger on Sam Pittman's tenure.
Yeah, that was, I think it was expected. A lot of people would say it was probably beyond time for it to happen. I think a lot of people thought he should have stepped down last year, but overall, it's a move that makes sense, and I think the fan base agrees with it. But I mean, this is a coach that everyone loved him as a person, so it hurts your heart a little bit to see him go. But hopefully, Bobby Petrino of all people back at the helm for the rest of the season. Yeah, that's going to be fun because it's different. Whenever you have like an offensive coordinator take over, typically they haven't had much head coaching experience. That was a head coach who the only reason he wasn't head coach was for non-football related. So we'll see if he's still got it. Yeah,
it's always tough when the coach is likable and he's shown the door. The Ryder Cup and Arkansas defense memes last weekend, by the way, were, comparing the two and what they did, they were exceptional. All right, we've got to talk some OU football because I don't know if anybody caught this last week. I know the Gundy news at Oklahoma State was pretty much the headline, but John Mateer's out. And Michael Hawkins is going to start for Oklahoma this week. Michael Hawkins went 1-3 last year, played in 3 conference games, then played in the bowl game at the end of the season. There were some exciting moments for Michael Hawkins, and there were a lot of yikes type of moments for Michael Hawkins. The coaching staff, I think, feels confident that he's grown. So Brent Venables and Ben Arbuckle both discussed that earlier this week.
He had a good bye week, had an excellent fall camp. And the team believes in him.
Has great arm strength. The ability to extend plays, has a quick release, and I think just his speed is also kind of an X factor too. Just he's able to do special things with his legs. Trying to put Mike and the offense in positions to be successful is of the utmost importance.
There you go. I know everybody's asking, I know that's great, but what about Mateer? Is John Mateer going to be healthy enough to play in the Texas game? I think there's a lot of optimism around that. Ben Arbuckle was asked just about John Mateer, the recovery process. Is he itching to get back on the field? Do you have to pull the reins back? Here's Ben Arbuckle on just the overall timeline with John Mateer and the work he's putting in.
He understands his body. He understands the recovery process and everything, and he's going to stick to that process, and if there's a gray area, he may trend more towards the darker shade of the gray than the lighter shade of the gray in the recovery, but that just comes from him being a competitor and wanting to be the best player and best person and most ready for his teammates as possible. So he's a pro in how he approaches everything.
So there you go. There's the obligatory John Mateer update on this edition of the End Zone. I want to go back to Michael Hawkins, though, because obviously it was a bit of a roller coaster ride, which it should have been, right? He was a true freshman a year ago. He was not slated to be the starter coming out of the gate. I think you have to be a little bit easy with the criticism of Michael Hawkins in year number 1. This is a Kent State defense that Michael Hawkins shouldn't have any issues with. That said, he hasn't played a lot. So what is your overall expectation, I guess, of Michael Hawkins this weekend?
Well, I think that this whole thing couldn't have happened at a better time. You get a bye week, and then you get Kent State, a great program to be able to test the water, get comfortable. I think that's the biggest thing in this case is he needs to get comfortable because, by the way, that next game, if Mateer's not ready to go, he's going to have to play Texas, and I know he's got experience playing that game, but yeah, I think this is going to be a really good warm-up for him. Should be able to try out things more than you would be able to against, say, Power 4 opponent. So I look for him to make some good strides.
Yeah, I'm curious in terms of the aggressiveness with running the ball, trying to get the running backs involved, how much maybe they take off his plate, or how much they maybe stretch the mental capacity in this Kent State game. Again, I think from a physicality standpoint, this defense probably isn't going to present a ton of resistance, but what are you asking Michael Hawkins to do consistently throughout this game? Like, you have to, I think, treat this game like it's a dress rehearsal for him to play against Texas. You're hoping that John Mateer is back next week, and the guy that was the Heisman frontrunner a week ago is going to quarterback your offense against the rival, but you have to treat this game like you are preparing Michael Hawkins to take those snaps.
Yeah, and even if Mateer is back for Texas, you got to think that they might keep it an easier load on him, so you could still expect to play even if he does get the start. But yeah, this is, I think, like you said, you got to go into this game just assuming you're going to play, because if you're like, oh, I'm only here a week, that mentality can get you into some trouble. So it will be an interesting balance to see how much, because again, Kent State is not an SEC opponent. It'll be interesting to see how much they're like, okay, let's test him and really let him throw the ball and run, as opposed to, oh, he's a backup, let's resort to the run game.
Let everybody else win the game for you, and
that'll be
not put him in a position to make mistakes. Yeah, I totally agree. Before we go to a break, this weekend there are going to be 6 former Oklahoma quarterbacks quarterbacking in the NFL. It has been an unbelievable run. Baker, Kyler, Hurts, Spencer Rattler, Caleb Williams, and Dylan Gabriel. I know the last 3 all transferred out of Oklahoma, but to think that OU fans have been spoiled to this degree watching that position especially is wild.
Yeah, and especially that most of those came just immediately one after the other. I mean, there's a reason they call it quarterback university, and I think that proves why. But it's so fun to watch them because they're not just, most of them aren't just starting, they're doing pretty darn well. So that's a lot of pride for OU fans.
And as Todd McShay told us a couple weeks ago, John Mateer should be the next one in the National Football League. All right, we've got to take a timeout. Thunder Media Day earlier this week. I caught up with Alex Caruso. We'll talk to the Thunder superstar on the other side here on the End Zone. All right, welcome back. Earlier this week, the Thunder held Media Day as they get ready to defend the NBA Championship preseason game number 1 coming up on Sunday. I caught up with one of the superstars for this Thunder team on Monday. I'm joined by 2-time champion Alex Caruso as Oklahoma City gets ready to defend the World Championship. What's the offseason been like?
Yeah, it's been quick. I filled a lot of stuff on the calendar that we couldn't get around. I got married this summer, played in a golf tournament, did a bunch of other stuff. So it's been fun. It's been kind of, I think, just enough time to kind of wipe the memory and get ready to go again.
I know you didn't have the parade when you won with LA. This parade obviously was insane, but other than the parade, like, how has the celebration and transition into a new season mirrored or not mirrored?
Yeah,
first experience.
It's funny because like I go home in the off season and I do a pretty good job of like blending in and kind of fading out of the public eye, and then within the first day of coming back, I drove through Sonic and got a drink with my wife and went to Golf Galaxy to pick up some stuff. And I forgot how much attention it is. It's here in Oklahoma City, and people are stopping me at Sonic and at Golf Galaxy, and they're just so excited to be able to celebrate this with us, because we obviously go off to different places and they stay here during the summer. So it was a nice reminder of how much the community cares and how much it meant to them to be able to celebrate that.
So were you more nervous waking up the morning of Game 7 or waking up the day you were going to get married?
Honestly, Game 7, I knew it was going to happen on the wedding day. That's the easy one. She's going to say yes. I'm going to say yes. We're going to have a great time. Game 7, is kind of up in the air. You never know what's going to happen. But luckily, both of them were successful and came out on top.
You had to kind of walk the younger guys through the whole championship celebration. What, from a leadership standpoint, have you kind of relayed to everyone about regrouping, resetting, and kind of, going into this season fresh without, carrying over the we won it all type mentality?
Yeah, I mean, I think just having the awareness that, you have to go out and do it again. You're only good. It's a common phrase in the NBA. It's like you're only as good as your last game. And after opening night, that's going to be our last game. And then from there, we're going to have to play 82 more. So luckily, I think the organization, Mark, Sam, they do a good job of spearheading that and just telling us that, like, obviously you have to go out and earn everything. There's nothing in the NBA that's given to you, which is, why you haven't seen repeat champions in a while. So I think we'll do a great job of, kind of just attacking the new season and be ready to try and go after it again.
One of my coworkers and friends was pregnant during the championship run. She said if the Thunder win the title, she's going to name the kid Caruso. So they gave it the middle name Caruso.
Did they really?
They did. They did.
Wow.
She had the baby about a month ago. So I got to get like some advice that you give the kid because it's now carrying the name.
Well, if it's the name Caruso, it's got some Italian roots. So pasta and bread early. Get it exposed to some good Italian food.
There we go. Alex Caruso joining us on this edition of the End Zone. I mean, that's great advice from a two-time NBA champion, Alex Caruso, and who doesn't love to carb load, right? I mean, Sign me up for some pasta and bread. All right, last week we gave you 10 seconds of MAC football. Oklahoma, by the way, is playing a team out of the MAC this week. Our own Adam King, MAC correspondent, did such a bang-up job. We're giving him 10 more seconds of MAC football this week.
OU fans got to be careful, guys. There's precedent of MAC schools beating the number 5 team in the country all the way back in 2016. NIU beat then-ranked number 5 Notre Dame.
And that was 10 seconds of MAC football here on the End Zone. We'll take a timeout. Moving the Chains coming up next. All right, let's try to move the chains along with Camryn Johnson. I am Colby Daniels. MAC correspondent Adam King is going to attempt to pick up a first down today.
Oh, boy.
I don't know how many first downs Kent State have in them against that OU defense this week, so let's hope that you outperform the Kent State offense. You're going to start with 1st and 10.
Great.
I'm going to throw a question your way. You're going to answer it. Camryn is going to decide how much she likes or dislikes your answer, and she's going to give you positive or negative yardage. So good answer, maybe she gives you 5 yards, it's 2nd and 5. Bad answer, maybe it's a loss of 3, and it's 2nd and long. So your charisma, personality, all that is going to really shine through here. So
perfect.
No pressure. All right, out of the gate, baseball playoffs are going on right now.
Yeah.
Yankees, Red Sox, one of the big rivalries in all of sports. Next weekend, it's OU Texas. Better rivalry, OU Texas or Red Sox Yankees?
As of recent, OU Texas for sure. feel like the Red Sox Yankee stuff is like cooled off. Maybe it's because the Red Sox have had the issues with like the Mookie Betts stuff, and I feel like when Texas is a top 10 team and OU's threatening to be a top 10 team, that gets attention from everywhere because especially this time of year, like even with the playoffs going on, college football can outshine baseball playoffs if it's not the World Series.
Plus, OU Texas doesn't even matter what their records are. It's
100%.
always going to be fun.
Yeah.
I'm going to agree with you. We're going to start you off nicely with a gain of 5.
Oh my gosh,
More than a
game manager.
OU Texas is always awesome.
Yeah.
Yankees Red Sox is awesome when both teams are good and chasing like a championship.
Well, the best thing about that you can say right now is that the games don't last 6 hours anymore. You're like, we're gonna get out of here.
That's true too. That's true too. Sign me up though to watch Pedro and Don Zimmer going head to head.
Every time.
I'll watch it every single time. All right, 2nd and 5. Nice pickup on 1st down. The Cowboys and the Packers tied last week, which I know Camryn and I are both Cowboys fans. It's a loss to me. Like, you didn't win, so I am not celebrating a tie. That said, I don't think anybody likes a tie in sports. So what is your best outside-the-box idea to settle ties in the NFL?
I think the best way we settle ties is to prevent them. And I love the pitch that has been going around where each team gets to kick like 3 field goals. And that's it. So now you're forcing 4th downs. You're forcing excitement. They got to figure it out. Coaches are going to get themselves in a box. And then at the end of this game, when maybe someone's trying to kick a game-tying field goal, you're like, hey, you don't have any field goals left. You have to go to the end zone. We're just going to avoid it. We're not even going to get there.
Interesting.
It's out of the box.
It's definitely out of the box.
Yeah, I've not heard that.
It's definitely out of the box.
Yeah, I'd have to think about that.
You don't think it would be fun to see a coach like plan for a field goal with 10 seconds left and they spike the ball?
Like he saves his challenge at the end of the game.
And everybody out there and the refs are like, you can't do that. You ran
out.
So now you got to figure it out from 40 yards out.
I know how I would grade this one, and I'll give you my opinion after Camryn officially grades you.
I'm sure my mind would change like when I think about this an hour from now.
Yeah.
But I feel like there are better ways.
Sure.
I'll give you a gain of 2.
That's fine. Hey, we're moving
That's
forward.
positive.
Yeah.
That would have been a loss of 5 for me because I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan. The best player on their team is Brandon Aubrey.
Yeah.
I'm not taking Brandon Aubrey off the field.
He will make a 70-yarder
Give
at
me
some point
give me
this
a
year.
kickoff between the two
crazy.
kickers. I mean, that's how I want to decide it because Brandon Aubrey's awesome. If my kicker stunk, though, I think it's a great idea. All right, 3rd and 3. You were doing really well.
Dangerously close.
Thunder kick off the preseason on Sunday against the Hornets. What is your bold prediction for the Thunder season? Give me something bold.
I think the Thunder are going to take the next step, but it's going to be because of Topic. Gets some run, figures it out, becomes an integral part of the team here, and really makes the moves to sort of push this team forward. And when you see with a second-year team, you got to change the style a little bit. You can't bring back the same thing that you had the year before. So I think we get a little influence to pretty open-minded group of guys, and you see maybe just a little bit of different play style. The engine's going to be the same. They're never going to change that. It's awesome. But you see some of the changes that Denver made to try to keep up and kind of muscle up on them a little bit with Valanciunas, and I think they're going to try to adapt a little bit with some pieces from within.
Now, there's a little bit of an injury there, is there not? Or was there a...
With Topic?
Topic
is good to go.
He's good to go.
back. He's
Okay.
in, yeah.
Okay, yeah, no, then that's a solid answer. I'll give you 4 on that one. First
What is
down.
the next step, though? You said he's going to take them to the next step. They won the championship. What's the next step?
Well, you had a team that got
Back-to-back?
dangerously close to record-breaking territory, and maybe this is a team that comes out just as hungry, and now we're threatening
74
some of the,
wins,
yeah,
75
we're threatening
wins?
that
Okay.
big number.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. They did log a lot of minutes last season.
Yeah.
I think Topic, if nothing else, is going to be a minute eater to, I think, maybe take Shea off the ball a little bit. And, yeah, we'll see how that all plays out. I think that's a good answer, though. All right, this weekend, the Smashing Machine is hitting the box office. The Rock, starring as MMA star Mark Kerr. I can't wait to see this. I'm pretty pumped.
It's going to be awesome.
With that said, give me your top 4 action movie stars ever.
Oh, my gosh.
Is The Rock on the list?
Action movie stars ever. The Rock's probably, he's going to be close. I think, top of my head, I got to go Keanu Reeves on John Wick alone and had a hero run in the
totally
80s.
fair.
We're talking Point Break. Like,
Matrix
you got to put
was
him in there.
amazing as
yeah,
well.
So he's got a
first
track
Matrix.
record. We could go just on volume. This is a volume play, like a Larry Walker stats accumulation. Jason Statham. He's been in a lot of stuff, had a lot going on. Jackie Chan's got some variety in there. He can make you laugh, and he can do his stunts, and he can make this figure out. And then I think like the all-timer, because of the stunts, is Tom Cruise. Like, he's running on the sides of buildings in Mission Impossible. He's jumping off of planes and stuff. He's teaching everybody how to do everything in Top Gun when they brought it back. He saved cinema. He saved cinema.
I don't disagree with that. It's not so much the names that you said; it's the names you didn't say. Cameron's got the official word on this, but
I mean,
No. Okay, so here's the thing. I'm really bad at remembering all of these actors that are out there. So you're going to name one afterwards.
you left
and I'm gonna be
Stallone
like-
off the list. Sylvester Stallone, Jean-Claude Van Damme, Arnold Schwarzenegger. That is a fumble, scoop, and score for the defense in my book. So. Terrible job. We'll see how many max seconds you get next week. All right, we got to take a time out. Adam King, Mac correspondent, joining us. It's time for game picks next on the End Zone.
Time now for the Brahms in the Bag Pick of the Week.
All right, welcome back. We've got to make game picks for this weekend. Pretty great football weekend ahead of us in the college landscape. We got to start in the SEC. OU's next opponent, the Texas Longhorns, haven't had the greatest start. Florida's had a worse start, though.
Yeah, Texas is not, I mean, they're not the most impressive 4-0 team there is. Florida is not as, there's promise there. And I think with this game being in the swamp, I think they're going to make this uncomfortable. Arch Manning on the road. I think they make it closer. Do I think they get the win? No, I think Texas ultimately takes it, but it'll be close.
This was such a hard pick for me. Give me Texas minus the points only because I think that defense is really good. I don't have a lot of confidence in either quarterback. I just think the Texas defense might make Lagway make more mistakes ultimately.
Yeah.
All right, last season, Vandy pulled off the upset over Bama. This season, Alabama is hosting Vandy.
Yeah, I don't think there's any way after last year that Vanderbilt pulls this off. I think Alabama, especially being at home and knowing what happened last year, I feel comfortable in them winning comfortably.
Big win over Georgia last week. I think this would be a statement to avenge that Vandy loss. So give me Alabama. All right, game number 3, Miami, FSU, rivalry matchup.
Yeah, this is another one I think will be close, but ultimately I think Miami's just a really good team, better overall. Yeah.
Close game. I like Miami to win, but give me the points in Tallahassee.
Okay.
I think that Florida State offense can put up a lot of points. OSU's a massive underdog at Arizona.
You know what? Same thing as I said last week. I think Oklahoma State is doing better than what people might suspect. I don't think they pull off a win, but once again, I think they keep it close. Maybe not 3 touchdowns, but yeah.
They emptied the playbook last week. I don't know how much more they have, and then you fire the defensive coordinator. I've got to take Arizona minus the 20.5. I hope I'm wrong, though. Hope Oklahoma State shows some fight. 45-point favorites are the Sooners against Kent State.
I went back and forth on this one a lot because that's a lot of points. We haven't seen them put up more than 42. I ultimately think, though, I predict they win this one 49-3, so it's going to be close.
I'm predicting not only does the defense pitch a shutout, but maybe the defense scores as well.
Okay.
So give me the Sooners minus 44.5. All right, that is Camryn Johnson. I'm Colby Daniels. Everybody have a great college football weekend. We'll see you next week.